Alright, that's a cute touch.
Report!
Both engine cores have spun to zero. We're drifting.
Archer pods are cold. I'll need to rekey the system.
Do it and find out where we are.
Sorry for the quick jump, Sergeant. You in one piece?
I'm good. Chief?
We're fine.
Ma'am, there's an object coming into view now.
Cortana, what exactly am I looking at?
That is another Halo.
Oh no, a riding contrivance.
Say what?
So this is what my father found. I thought Halo was some sort of super weapon.
It is. If activated, this ring will cause destruction on a galactic scale. I want all the information you've got on the first Halo. Schematics, topography, whatever.
I don't care if I have the clearance or not.
Yes, ma'am.
Or if
Where's our
Bungie
target?
put it
The
in
enemy
additional
ship stopped
outside
above the
media.
rim, ma'am. We're going to pass right over it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Given what we know about this ring, it's even more important that we capture the Prophet of Regret. Find out why he came to Earth. Why he came here.
Chief, take first platoon. Hard drop. Secure a landing zone. Sergeant, load up 2 flights of Pelicans and follow them in.
Aye, aye, ma'am.
Until I can move
Secure
in
a
sight,
landing
I'm going
zone.
To keep a low profile. Once you
So
leave
we're
the
already
ship,
getting more than Halo 1 tried.
Understood.
Over the target in 5.
Hang on to your helmet.
Remember when Cortana was so valuable
Mind the bump.
that she had to jump ship to not be captured?
I don't see how charging directly headfirst into enemy territory makes your point at all.
I just thought I'd bring it up. I wish I could shoot those that fast and not use
Could we possibly make any more noise? I guess so.
I do like that gag.
Sir, we gotta neutralize those turrets!
Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back to this episode of Cooperative Conversations for Halo 2. And when we last left our hero, the, what are we again? We're, like
Chef Excellence.
hella private or something? I don't know. We seem to be doing a lot of the same work these grunts are. Not exactly something a man of our heightened status would be expected to do.
It's a bit unfair to call them grunts. So here they are. This is their introduction. The Orbital Drop Shock Trooper.
Oh, when are they ever called that?
They're not.
Oh.
Oh, yeah,
I was wondering, because, like, they look different. They got that cool... Oh, remember when Johnson said, get tactical? I think this is what they did.
Yeah.
I told them to spray
Yeah.
paint all their stuff black, and I think they did
Yeah.
it.
Oh, they took your advice?
But you're telling me these are, like, a different thing?
I've lost track of it!
Well, yeah, these guys are specialists that drop into combat zones in these big metal pods and get murdered immediately because they're dropping into hot zones with no active defensive screening to protect them.
Oh, okay, weird. It would be cool if, like, during that conversation that we were having, when Miranda Keyes was like, Johnson, take 2 pelicans and follow them down. Before that, she could have said something like, Chief, I'm giving you a troop of ODSTs.
Well, they can't do that because that would be giving us command of something, and we can't have command of something because we're an FPS player. Like, player character.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't give someone playing an FPS something as complicated as, like, AI that you can give basic commands to, like, stand here or go there.
I'm not even talking about that, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, remember how I was saying in Halo 1, like, a lot of the series storytelling problems could be solved with just extra lines of dialogue here or there. It's like, this is one of them. Like, I don't know who these characters are. You know, they have a name that, like, we're never given. But if Miranda said, Chief, I'm dropping you with a group of ODSTs, I'd at least know that they are that much.
Yeah.
Why didn't I read Halo 2, The Rise of ODST,
I hear you. Starting our approach.
Well,
Hang tight.
that's your problem, right? You
written
should've
by
read it.
Madeline Langle
Inbound
for
fence.
Bungie
You're-
Studios in
you're a fake
2004.
You're a fake fan, that's all.
I suppose
But,
I am.
I was also alluding to a certain game that came out the same year, Half-Life 2, which, when you're given friendly AI, they just give you a button that's like, stand here, come back to me.
Yeah, there's also Republic Commando, which I personally hated, but it also gave you AI squad mates.
Yes, but Republic Commando was also trying to be like a tactical commander squad game from the start. Half-Life 2 is much more analogous because it's an FPS where you're FPS man, McFPS man, but eventually, you know, you got friendlies, and they just went the extra mile and just gave you a button to tell the AI where to stand when you want to.
Yeah, that's fair.
But in defense of this game, the ODST are much less likely to physically block your path. They also don't tell you constantly that you need to reload.
Dr. Freeman.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if you've noticed, but like we talked about earlier, I believe in Outskirts, Halo 2 does fairly often lean on
Another Phantom
the
on approach.
stand here and defend area. And while they
It
do
does.
it better than it was done in Halo 1, it's still something you do way too often to be
Well,
engaging.
well, that's the thing. We've been told, at least we're given a decent reason to defend this area. We've been told we're securing a landing zone. That's a better reason than most of the stay here defend this objectives in this game. Or
Sure,
the
and
other
that's,
game.
that's what I mean, like, they're doing it better. They are giving us multiple types of enemies to fight, and it's still just... it's essentially padding, because these levels are so small.
Well, since we've got to stand around and we need stuff to talk about, we should probably talk about this this structure that we're defending.
I'd love to, because I have some questions about it.
Sure.
So it's stone ruins.
Yep. Old stone ruins. Look at
Yeah,
it. It's all
they-
mossy, cracked.
Mossy, cracked, yeah, faded. So that implies that somebody was living here. But it's the same exact architectural style as the other Forerunner architecture.
Yes.
So why
Hold here
would...
until the Pelican arrives, Chief.
Thanks, Cortana. So why would a super advanced Forerunner race who built the Halos need to then construct things out of unmortared stone?
Well, you see, Bungie realized that featureless grey metal wasn't very visually interesting for a game pushing visual fidelity, so they decided that the Forerunners also needed to create
We got a
ruins
good
that
view
have
coming
to
in.
be...
There's a big building in the middle of this island's lake.
I saw
Okay.
it too. It looked like a temple. If I were a megalomaniac, and I'm not, that's where I'd be.
Okay. So now we have an objective.
Sure.
But yeah, no, they have to build, the Forerunners built these temples that have to be at least 1,000 years old.
Easily.
So, I mean, we know the Forerunners are supposed to be this ancient precursor race, right? So, fair enough,
Sure.
this stuff could be that old.
but
but,
it's on a Halo, which had to
Yeah,
come
why-
first.
Yeah. And that's the thing, so the Halo has to be at least that old. And my question is the same question you've been asking, which is, you know, apart from being a weapon, which they're stated to be, what are the Halos for? Because why do they have, you know, landscape and structures on them, weather?
Yeah, why
that
do
sort of
they...
thing?
Why do they need to be livable? Because... Now remember... Okay,
Gassing out of space.
yeah, we'll...
Wish you were here.
Oh, okay, I did not take us off the
I
cliff.
heard that, jackass.
Covenant has control
I was gonna say we're gonna listen to this
We're going to try
Australian
and
man,
bottle us
but
up on this
there
side of
there
the
are two of
door.
them now. So
Hey,
The controls to extend the bridge should be in this structure.
Watch out, Chief! Race on the far side!
thanks.
Hey, careful, mate!
Goodbye.
bye.
I'll take care of this other Australian guy. Never mind.
What is it with you and killing Australians?
Well, anyway, my question was going to be, why does the Halo need to be livable? Who needs to live here in order for it to function? Now, I could see if there were, like, various systems that needed to be maintained, but we didn't... Again, we don't know what any of the buildings are, and, like, these are made out of... Well, this one's made out of metal, but those other ones were made out of stone, so I don't really think those were, like, fire control outposts from the ancienter version of the Forerunners. And if they need to be livable for, like, a long-term solution... Remember, this is a weapon meant to fire a life-cleansing pulse of energy from this ring. Why would you build a livable world around the epicenter of something that can reach, what did Guilty Spark say, like 40,000 light years?
Yeah, it's... I think at some point I don't think it's said out loud, but I think at some point it's alluded to that they served a dual function as like research stations to research the flood.
And
But-
that's fair. That is coming up, you're right. Anyway, yeah, here's the bridge. Here's the gatehouse. It's a gatehouse, whatever. There's this guy. This is
That's regret, right?
Truthiness.
Good, the bridge is down. Now about those wraiths.
Yeah, the wraiths. I know, Cortana.
Roger that. Armor's on the way.
I don't know. I know the answer, and the answer is because you couldn't have a video game set on a Halo if it was just a featureless ring of metal that had, like, nodes that the explosion came from.
Yeah.
And also it's because the ring world was a livable space. Once again, meant to be kind of a conservation effort built by the pack way back when.
Mhm.
Oh look, endemic life. Birds in the sky.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Remember when Unreal had these in 1998?
I do remember that. Even got funky designs.
Oh, we've gotten another
hey.
tank.
Free tank.
Only one though.
Go
Would
for
you
it.
like to drive?
I mean, I could drive a tank.
Alright, I'll tag along. I think the thing to take away here is that thinking about Halo's story and setting just makes me really bitter and confused. Because it's so poorly realized. Nothing about this is ever explained. And I don't mean like I need a character to sit me down and tell me every last detail about the world. I just want somebody to say something. And I've made that point before, I know that for a fact. Don't boost away from me.
I was trying to corral him in.
I think it's just... I feel the way about Halo that I do about Star Wars. And that is that it is a world of missed opportunities. And the parts people really like about each are not in the main properties that the general masses interact with.
Well, it's funny because you mentioned the ancient structures, right? And the ancient forerunners and all of that. And looking back with the benefit of hindsight, it's like, oh, if you wanted to include temples on the Halo, you could be like, oh, the Covenant are descendants of races that were built to maintain the various operating structures.
Oh, and
on
that's
the Halo.
why they view them with such, like, religious significance? That would be really
Yes. Right? And it's like, that's... So remember how I keep saying this was written as it was made?
cool. Oh,
It's
yes.
like, if you had someone actually, like, plot out the story of Halo, something like that would make a lot more sense than what we're given. But, of course, they had to come up with explanations for stuff they were making up as they went along. So...
Yeah. I mean, you know, you get these cool locations because of it, and this isn't bad. This is a nice little piece of scenery.
Yeah, and it's a fun vehicle segment, going around crushing up all sorts of Covenant baddies. I'm doing a lot of the heavy lifting because
Well, you have the tank.
I have a tank that
And-
fires a 90mm slug, apparently.
Shrug. I could look at the instruction manual for Halo 1 again, but I don't know if it'll say so. But it all comes back to something I think we mentioned before. It's been a while since the last game. Does a video game need this? Need any of what I'm asking for? Isn't
Not always.
the fact that Bungie perfected the 30-second gameplay loop enough?
I would say...
For some people it isn't.
For some people it is enough. I would say kinda. I mean, we're playing these games. We're talking about how much we enjoy playing these games together. Like, kinda, right? It's just that the game could be that and then also have well-written, consistent plot and setting. Like, they're not exclusive, right? You can
Right.
do both.
And I think I'm in the same boat, right? They could have both. The issue I have, again, is that people and Bungie themselves, I mean, obviously from a marketing standpoint they have to say so, but people and Bungie themselves, like, tout Halo as this triumph of a single-player narrative. And when you actually sit down and pay attention to it, it's riddled with inconsistencies and plot holes, and you can never get a straight answer from anyone about one thing or the other. It's so much information that you might want to know is not present.
But we're in
And-
a cool stone temple.
Yeah, but look, we have vehicles and we're rampaging through ancient
Careful,
stone
we're
ruins.
coming up on another
Isn't that
structure.
fun? Aren't these 30 seconds fun? Do it for 30 seconds, have Cortana say something, go to a new location, do it again.
Music's pretty thumping.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. No, again, I don't want to go back to, like, well, in
Yeah.
Unreal, but
Yeah.
nothing ever so truly alien as the Unreal soundtrack.
Well, yes. A lot of the Halo soundtrack tries to go for that sort of like... I don't really know how to describe it. Like, they try to use not like classical, but like old, like tribal even. Like very, like they're trying to evoke like ancient religious chants and stuff like that with their music.
Sure,
Which, you know,
I can get that.
I can grok to that, right? But like, yeah, it's... That is one resilient grunt. There we go. I mean, these areas are pretty.
They're pretty. They're exactly what we asked for out of Halo 1.
Yeah.
Something more interesting, something that feels like you're progressing. And I cannot fault the gameplay side of Halo 2. It is an enjoyable experience to play. But trying to think about it is, again, what makes me just very disappointed. And it's just like, well, I guess this is as good as we're gonna get.
Pretty much. Look, if the best we can get is a 30-second gameplay loop that's fun and cribbing from, you know, StarCraft, sure.
They're all pouring out of the middle. Let's get in there.
I mean,
Aren't
Cortana's
we-
giving us, you know, direction.
Pelican inbound.
There we go. I was like, didn't we
Let's
already do
clear
that
a
part,
landing
Cortana?
zone.
Oh, that's right, the drop pods. Oops, sorry. My bad.
Oh, hi.
It's fine.
I wonder... I'm just gonna park here for no reason.
Alright. The
Oh.
rocket... Ugh. You want the rocket launcher or the sniper rifle?
I already have a beam rifle. Here, I'll take something... here. Have the rest of my rocket launcher.
Okay. Works for me.
I'll take this plasma rifle.
Alright.
Let me take the controls.
What controls? Where'd you come? Oh, out of there. Okay.
Excuse me, that seat's mine.
So, we have some reinforcements, just like before, but now at least we know where they're coming from, right?
Check that out.
Mm-hmm.
We, you know, they're Johnson's one of his two, I guess, maybe? We're at least given that much, right? Like, we can say, oh yeah, I remember them. I remember Johnson being given them.
Well, even then, we also secured a landing zone that was our initial objective, so
Yeah.
you could say, oh, they've already set up a fob by now. I mean, they're dropping in weapons for us, so...
Now we progress, offer vehicles into a little tighter area.
We've been given our choice of, like, human weapons, so that we don't have to scavenge off the aliens to handle these closer quarters. If we don't want to, that is. Hey, look,
Yeah.
another one of these holograms.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Covenant are way better at manufacturing weapons to kill Covenant than us humans who've been fighting them for 30 years are. But...
I mean, that makes some amount of sense, right?
sure. Then again, the battle rifle is just the answer to everything.
Yeah. Also, hey, there's this guy over here.
Yeah.
He does the thing now. It's not just a hologram. He does it infrequently, though.
No, he's not doing anything right
In
now.
a gesture of
Oh.
peace and reconciliation, the prophets promised to find the means of the Forerunner's transcendence, and to share this knowledge with the elites. The elites promised to defend the prophets as they searched. A simple arrangement that has become our binding covenant.
Hey, they explained what it
Transcendence,
is.
huh? More like mass suicide.
Well, it's something.
That is probably more than the entire franchise has given us up to the point.
And it harkens back to what I was saying in Halo 1 about Destiny and its storytelling. This is missable. Cortana commented
Yeah.
on it, so that's something better than what we'll see in the next game. But if you want that information given to the player, if you view it important to the story, you need to have somebody tell it directly to the player in a way that is impossible to miss. Like in a cutscene, perhaps.
No, we gotta
don't
use those.
we don't
to show
even
the
need to
cool-
have it be told to Master Chief. Why not during the whole thing about the Arbiter being stripped of his title and being made into the Arbiter, you have like one of the prophets be, oh, you know, your species promised to do this thing while we helped us search, and your negligence blew up the Halo. There
Nah.
you go. We have that information delivered to us organically in a way that we can't miss.
No, the cutscenes are for having the cool moments, like dropping in orbitally or saying cool one-liners like, I need a weapon.
Yeah. Cutscenes are for one-liners. Missable dialogue is for critical plot elements.
Yeah.
I can't help but feel that Bungie isn't actually good at this.
Do you want to, or shall I?
I'll go for it. I'll get a good glamour shot. Beautiful.
Oh no!
Work it, baby.
Nice places.
Oh no. Okay. Counter sniper offensive. Phew. Phew. Counter-sniped 2 things. How about you?
I got 1. Also, I'm totally not eating a donut. Ignore me.
Okay.
Sorry, I haven't had breakfast.
You know, here we are, back to a more open area. And it's got some cool verticality. It's a cool little valley. Again, these environments, they're just solid, massive step up in every way. I keep saying it because it keeps proving true. It took them 8 years as a game developer, but Bungie finally learned how to make a level. And then promptly forgot it whenever they were doing multiplayer battles.
So it's been a while since we mentioned Halo 2's difficulty because there's not much reason to bring it up. But
You know, we're playing on normal, again.
remember at the start when we said we'd be playing on normal because this game is quite punishing on difficulties above that?
Yes.
This area is pretty infamous on Legendary.
Yeah.
So
It
on
is.
Legendary, those Jackal snipers don't miss.
They don't
They
miss,
just don't.
and they always get a headshot, and their weapon is scaled to do so much damage, it one-hit kills you no matter what.
This area is full of Jackal snipers. So basically, on Legendary, this becomes an exercise in memorization. Because if you don't remember where all the Jackal snipers are and where they appear, you will die.
Sure will. You know, I'd really have thought that we had moved past one-shot kill hit scan enemies as a society by 2004, but here we are.
Got him.
You hear something?
Yeah. Have we mentioned that they're speaking English? I believe we have mentioned it, but did we really call attention to the Southern English?
We've mentioned it amongst ourselves, but yeah, now the Covenant just speaks English. The Grunts did in the last game.
The
You'd
cyborg!
Yeah, the cyborg. Because they didn't have time to re-record the lines after they switched over what kind of character Master Chief was.
Uh-huh. But yeah, the Covenant have now started speaking English. Part of that is, you know, the characters are speaking English for the Tassadarbata stages. So, you know, let's just have them speak English for real. And again, there's explanations in the supplemental material, but as far as we know, they're just suddenly speaking English.
Cool. Hey, you know that bit in Metal Gear Solid 3? Where...
Which bit?
what's his name?
Sokolov?
Yes. Where you rescue Sokolov.
Still no word about In Amber Clad on the Covenant BattleNet. It's odd.
Yeah,
The Covenant know we made landfall, but they don't seem to consider us a very serious threat. Boy, are they in for a big surprise.
Ha ha ha.
Anyway, where
Sokolov.
you rescue Sokolov, and Snake is like, Sokolov, I'm here to rescue you. And Sokolov says... oh, your Russian is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, now we know...
line of... Yeah.
Now we know that every time those two characters, are presumably other Russian characters, are speaking with Snake, oh, they're just speaking Russian.
A single line of dialogue answers every question you could have about who is speaking and how.
I totally hit that. You all saw that. You saw me hit that. What are they doing in the air there? Is this some kind of posturing move? Are they...
Some kind of attack formation, I'm sure. But, that's the thing, where, again, this game is better than Halo 1, right? But
Yes,
that's
by a
something
mile.
that could have... that's something that could have easily been solved by a single line of dialogue from Cortana. Or, you know what? Remember when they talk about your new whiz-bang armor that you're given at the start of the game?
I do.
It also features the latest in real-time translation software.
Isn't that something?
Problem solved.
Bungie, if you're listening, if anybody from Bungie is listening, did you guys have, like, an editor? Or did you just kind of, like, write a page, take a lunch break, write another page, go to sleep, write another page?
Watch yourself.
Oh,
On
who
your
are these
guards.
boys?
Oh, that's scary. That one's got a sword.
Oh, now I have a sword. Ho ho ho.
Swish swish death, more like.
So they got that fancy armor from the cutscene.
They must be important.
Cortana said something about it right as I also said something, so I guess we'll see in the subtitles what she said.